Hello there and welcome to CNR Extra here on CTV, coming to you live from our studios at number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tessana, Accra. My name is Philip Nihlati. Coming up, Vice President of America Kamala Harris pledges the U.S. government's support to build a slavery museum close to the Cape Coast Castle in the Central region.
There is a plan to build a slavery museum, and we want you to be part of that museum.
I have now appointed you, Madam Ambassador, to be an official liaison to His Highness and to this extraordinary group of global leaders, and then let us figure out the next steps.
8 persons reported dead after a boat headed to Bajuti, a community in the Karachi West district, capsized on the River Oti.
The numbers boats in our fund was about 15 or 16, including children. We lost 4 of the children.
And Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources refused reports that government owes some seedlings providers over 2.5 billion cedis for supplying seedlings for the tree planting exercise during the 2021-2022 Green Ghana Day celebrations.
Do you understand the magnitude of it? Please, we don't owe anyone 2.5 billion. Yes, government owes for 2021 and 2022. In all, it's 28 million Ghana cedis. So where from that 2.5 billion?
And still to come on CNR Extra, Electricity Company of Ghana disconnects 3 blocks at the Osu Barracks of the Ghana Police Service, as well.
Some of the money, so all the monies they owe us, because we need to settle most of the people who generate power for us and those on the value chain, essentially.
Once again, you're welcome to CNR Extra. We are live on CCTV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comment via WhatsApp line 0204447033. We are also streaming on YouTube, so you can join us there on CityTube. Hansen Ajiman, you're welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
Let's bring you the very first story that has to do with the Vice President of America, Kamala Harris, who has pledged the U.S. support to build a slavery museum close to the Cape Coast Castle.
Now, in our first story, the Ogwamanhine Osaberima Kwesi Atta II wants the U.S. government to support in the building of a slavery museum close to the Cape Coast Castle in the Central region. Now, according to him, this will help preserve artifacts from the transatlantic slave trade and tell the slave trade story proper. Our Central Regional correspondent, Calvis Tete, has more in this report.
The Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, touched down in Cape Coast at around 3 p.m. on Tuesday to a rousing welcome and was later received by the Ogwamanhine Osaberima Kwesi Atta II and some other important dignitaries within the region. Osaberima Kwesi Atta II, while addressing the Vice President of the U.S., Kamala Harris, and her delegation, indicated that there is a need for her to use her high office to support the building of a slave museum where artifacts from the slave trade will be kept to help tell the story of the transatlantic slave trade proper. Osaberima Kwesi Atta II indicated that the project, when constructed, will be the legacy project of the Vice President of the United States.
We want you to organize a reciprocal visit to the United States, where, we are talking, but we want this talk to be turned into something more concrete. That's why we are asking reciprocal visit to concretize what we are talking about so that Cape Coast will also be strong. Again, Just across the road from here, there is a plan to build a slavery museum. And we want you to be part of that museum. This will tell the whole story of the African transatlantic slavery trade. And if that is done, and the time comes for cutting the ribbon to declare it open, we will invite you to come and do that. At least that will be your legacy project for the whole of Africa. I'm not going to speak much, but we appreciate you. We appreciate your visit, and this will be a living memory in our minds throughout ages. Enjoy yourself in Cape Coast, and on your agenda, we want you to at least appoint a liaison officer to connect with us so that maybe next month, next 2 months, this month you will not be, but next 2 months we will be preparing to come and pay this reciprocal visit to concretize matters.
Central Regional Minister Marigold Hassan, who chaired the occasion, believes the visit of the Vice President should be an avenue for the U.S. government to invest $1 million in education and youth programming in Africa over a period of 2 years, adding that government's free SHS policy has in diverse ways opened up access to children in deprived communities to have access to education.
Her Excellency, coincidentally, the divine in you, which led you to choose Cape Coast to visit Ghana's tourism and educational hub. That's where you are now. It is not by chance, because we believe your visit will also mark the beginning of further engagement on how our country is going to work together. We could tap into your government's push to invest $1 million in education and youth programming in Africa within the next 2 years. Our flagship program, Free High School Education, since its inception, has opened up access to children in disadvantaged or needy homes across the country. Coupled with a commitment to strengthening and promoting educational interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we believe support through the proposed investment in Africa will strengthen us to prepare our children for today and tomorrow's highly technological environment. Ghanaian schools have been participating in international robotics competition and doing quite well. We can only consolidate our gains in partnership with the United States of America. Women empowerment, for which I know you stand for that. And I'm so happy to be part of today's ceremony. I love you so much, and we know that by the time you are done with this program, we are going to have a very beautiful program for our women, to have more women to participate in leadership positions. This year, we will be electing representatives to the General Assemblies of our local authorities in Ghana. In Ghana, we have 261 local authorities across our 16 administrative regions, and we have classified them as either metropolitan, municipal, or district assemblies. Elections at the grassroots level are very familiar to you. Her Excellency, you have gone through the mill. We have a commitment to promote increased women participation and district level elections, increase women representation at the decision-making table. On behalf of people and women in Ghana, we would be grateful to you, your government, and team for any form of support that would help support women to present themselves to be heard and to be the voices for the marginalized and all voiceless in their communities. We believe that when women are involved in governance, we have goddesses who will protect the legal interests of all and push for the transformative development. Establishing sister cities for mutual economic benefit. Sustainable Development Goal 17 places emphasis on partnerships for development. That is true. We are not islands unto ourselves, and we cannot achieve much without holding hands. I'm aware that some cities or districts in Ghana have cities relationships with the USA and we want to suggest that we look at constructive support. This partnership can develop new ones that will also facilitate utilization of the competitive advantages of each for mutual economic benefit. For example, the city of Cape Coast may establish a partnership with a city in the USA focused on tourism and education. And as we promote the diaspora agenda of the government of His Excellency the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we would also implement strategies that would facilitate positive connections, leading to transformative socio-economic standards of our people.
Vice President Kamala Harris noted that her visit is a remarkable one aimed at building stronger partnership between the U.S. and Ghana, adding that history is something that should not be taken for granted, hence will take action on the request made.
Well, the first thing I will say is I will now officially appoint a liaison. The ambassador to Ghana, who is here with us, I have now appointed you, Madam Ambassador, to be an official liaison to His Highness and to this extraordinary group of global leaders, and then let us figure out the next steps. But I do appreciate the points that you have made. And there is an unmistakable tie and bond, and all relationships that are good relationships are founded on trust and consistency and reciprocity. And so I appreciate the points you have made, and we will follow up with your request. How could I deny a request from my host? I've been raised properly, you know. But it is my honor, and with my husband and our delegation, to be here. And I appreciate the accommodations and the effort that you have made to welcome us so warmly. I too believe that we must remember history for many reasons, especially in the face of, at times, those who would attempt to deny it. And we must teach it, but teach it also with an understanding that it should teach us not only about our past, but about our destiny and our future. That we must learn from it in a way that we make the ancestors proud and understand the broad shoulders upon which we stand. So I thank you for the spirit with which you have welcomed me and my husband and our delegation. I request your ability for me to see the lands that you oversee and to visit the place that you have not mentioned, but the place I will go next. And I must say that there is so much that you, Minister, and Your Highness have mentioned about Ghana and by extension the continent that gives me an incredible sense of optimism. And the work that you have done here in terms of prioritizing and having such success with education is something that in my own country of the United States and around the globe we know must be a greater priority for all of us. And that includes using that education as a way to help people around the globe understand the connections and the interconnections and the interdependence by extension. So I am honored to be here and to be with you, and I look forward, as you greeted me, to saying this will not be the last time we meet or speak. And again, thank you for the warm welcome, and to everyone, thank you for the welcome.
So we welcome this idea and the support from the United States, and the Vice President there, Kamala Harris, has stated that they are going to support in the construction of a slavery museum. Hansen, what do you make of this?
Well, I think it's a good idea. The chief got the opportunity to meet with both the chief and then the vice president of U.S.
They got the opportunity to meet each other.
And I think that is a good suggestion that has come in from the chief. The U.S. vice president has indicated that this is something that they will look into and where possible offer their support. I think so far, if you look at it from the viewpoint of the vice president, I think that the visit has been good. I mean, if you look at the sort of welcome that Ghana has given her, the level of cooperation. I mean, even yesterday I was reviewing the footage and I saw the Secret Service. They were actually in charge of security at the place, and I saw Asabi being screened thoroughly. I mean, I think it's been nice having her.
They took nothing for chance.
Yeah,
chance.
It's a good one, and as we rightly noted, she's leaving Ghana today to her next destination. There's a week tour of the continent, and they have made their point known why she's in Ghana and in extension in Africa. They are seeking to strengthen their influence in Africa. And there's one thing that I've realized, that trying as much as possible to go in according to the current narrative as we have it in Africa and in Ghana, that we want trade partners and not people who only give us aid or conditional aid. And so in her speech often you get to hear that even when she met with President Akufo-Addo, she indicated that her government and that of Biden, they are looking at what they can do with their trade partners in Africa and not what they can do for their trade partners. And so all in all, I think it's good. I mean, we can mention some of the things that they've promised already to give to Ghana and to Africa as a whole, the $100 million US dollars for the security, helping Ghana with the debt exchange issues that we're having. There's also conversations about helping when it comes to the creative sector. One thing that I'm yet to get is, and hoping, is that President Akufo-Addo and his government are strategizing appropriately so that we can benefit properly from this relationship with the US.
Exactly. So her visit has been a very good one. She started off a meeting the president, continued to the Black Star Square, where she had an engagement with the youth there and women, and moved to the Central region, where she visited the Cape Coast Castle, and by extension had an engagement with the Ogwamahene Osaberima Kwesi Atta II. Away from this story, let's bring you that which is making rounds. That is the Electricity Company of Ghana. They've been doing the most well. They have disconnected Osu Barracks of the Ghana Police Service. That is 3 blocks of Osu Barracks. Let's bring you that inset.
The Electricity Company of Ghana has disconnected 3 blocks at the Osu Barracks of the Ghana Police Service over illegal connection. The task force discovered the illegality during the National Revenue Mobilization exercise. Meanwhile, at the Ghana Post Head Office in Accra, staff of the company held the task force hostage for about 30 minutes after the company was disconnected over illegal connection valued at 89,000 cedis. Ferduho was with the task force and has more.
The Electricity Company of Ghana National Task Force, that is on the revenue mobilization to retrieve some 5.7 billion Ghana cedis as debt on its books, has since moved to the Adan enclave within the Greater Accra region. The very first place we visited is the Kemat Hotel in Adan itself, where a certain man owes to the tune of about 200,000 Ghana cedis. In your shots is the National Task Force from the Electricity Company of Ghana. They've just taken off the hotel here off the national grid. The hotel by name Kemat Hotel, located in the Adan district of the Greater Accra region, has been taken off the national grid. And we understand they are noted for reconnection. They are notorious for reconnection anytime the task force come around to disconnect them from the national grid, and that the local or the district office of the ECT are unable to really enforce taking off their monies they owe. We understand they owe to the tune of about 500,000 Ghana cedis, but they are unable to pay. And ever since the ECG task force normally engaged them, they are unable to come to any amicable conclusion. So they've since been taken off by the National Task Force from the national grid, and they were taken off the pole. In this case, the task force is hoping to monitor and ensure that anytime they are reconnected without making adequate payment, they will take them on with the law enforcement agency. In that case, the police would be invited to effect any arrest of the management of this particular hotel within the Adan district. From there, we've moved to another company, which is a banana plantation that is engaged in export of banana out of this country, and they also owe to the tune of about 180 million Ghana cedis. The ECG won't have any of that. They've come to have talks with management to see if they'll be able to redeem about 50% of their indebtedness, after which, if talks break down, they may proceed to disconnect this particular facility as well. The task force is basically going to take this particular factory from the national grid. They are taking it from source. They don't want to have anything to do with the meter. They want to take it right from source so that when they need power, they would call them to come back after settling their debts. They will be able to reconnect them to the national grid. So that is what we have taking place currently. And you see, it's been disconnected from the national grid.
You send picture of the check, then we generate invoice for you, then you put it together with the check, then you take it to the bank.
So I am giving now you connect this one. I am giving right now.
No, I cannot take it. Even if it's ready now,
I am ready.
Yes, I know. You have to send me a picture. We'll do the invoice, then you take it to the bank. We cannot take it to the bank for you.
I am giving you stop that people. You stop mine. I am begging my.
No, we have to go to the next place. So you send me the picture of the check. We'll generate the invoice for you.
Coming this far, one would say you are quite aggressive this time around. What is chasing you?
Our debts are chasing us just as we are chasing our customers too. Be kind enough to pay some of the monies or all the monies they owe us, because we need to settle most of the people who generate power for us and those on the value chain, essentially.
So the revenue mobilization team, or the task force of the Electricity Company of Ghana, is in every corner to ensure that the 5.7 billion owed by some institutions concerning what they are owning the Electricity Company of Ghana is retrieved. This morning, they've moved to another community. My colleague Fred Duho, who is with the team, is on the line to give us up to speed what is happening concerning this exercise. Fred, where is the task force now, and what is the action happening there?
Philip, thank you for the chance. The issue here is that we are currently at Pambros, which is within the Wija municipality, but in the ECD demarcation, it's within the Botiano district of ECD. And as we speak, about 20 task force members in the company of armed police personnel are moving from one house to the other, effecting disconnection from the pole. In effect, they are taking power source from the source to prevent those who have tapped power illegally from doing same or using power henceforth. So the team currently is moving from one house to the other, disconnecting all illegally connected users. Most of the homes we've visited so far, the issue has been the same. You would see people bypass the installed meters by the ECG, and they've been able to directly connect power into their home, and they are using it without paying for it. But they also had some concern they shared with the team lead, which is the manager of external communication at ECG, and their concern has been that the distance from the community to Dansoman before they get prepaid is quite far. So anytime people go to Dansoman to purchase and they are unable to get the prepaid and they come home, they don't want to sleep in darkness and they would have to fall on alternative means to get power. And that has actually caused the surge in the number of illegality witnessed in this community. So the exercise is still ongoing, and I can say that it's been peaceful so far.
Pamblos, is it that the residents there, some of them are using the post, because we understand that this exercise is to ensure that organizations or individuals using postpaid and monies owed the Electricity Company of Ghana will be retrieved. Are they using postpaid, prepaid, and what can you tell us about that particular issue there?
Interestingly, this particular community, all of them have prepaid meters. and the prepaid meters are supposed to be fixed on the electric poles. Now, there was one interesting scenario where a certain young lady who is a tenant in a particular house said she wanted her own personal meter. The mere fact that she's been paying so much for electricity and monthly the landlord comes to collect huge sums of money from her, she felt she's not using that much to be paying the amount of money she's being charged. So she requested for a personal meter without going through the ECG office or through the right channel to acquire a meter or a separate meter for her personal use. She went ahead to pay someone 1,000 Ghana cedis, and within 1 week, a meter from another district of ECG, which is the Kolebu district, was brought to the house to install for her. So she felt it was fast when she went through the unapproved means to acquire meter. But if she had gone through the laid down procedure to acquire prepaid meters, it would have taken her quite a longer period. So they felt the need to acquire meter illegally or through unauthorized persons positioning themselves as workers of ECD to get their meters faster than the laid down channels for acquiring meters. So this entire community is on prepaid, and any meter found in the home of any landlord or tenant would be deemed to be an illegal meter because all the meters are supposed to be fixed on the electric pole.
Final question. We know that this task force is there with assistance of the police. Have they had any resistance from some of these residents?
It is quite intriguing to know that some of the community folks, when they are passing, they tell you that, yes, you are doing the right thing. Move ahead, go to this house and arrest them. They are even pointing to where the task force can discover this illegality.
Wow.
So in effect, they are cooperating with the task force, and it's been peaceful so far. There has been no agitation because some of them feel that they are paying the right bills, while others are bypassing the system to enjoy what they've not paid for.
Well, many thanks for your time, Fred Duho. Fred Duho is my colleague in the city newsroom, and he's with the Electricity Company of Ghana Revenue Mobilization Task Force as they go on an exercise to retrieve some 5.7 billion owed the Electricity Company of Ghana. Hansen, what do you briefly make of this and the exercise so far?
Well, I think that it's a good job the ECG is doing. The revenues are needed. We need to seal all loopholes, and this should be an advice to other state agencies who can also take out such activities, because we really need revenue in various aspects of the
Especially
country.
the ECG has been complaining that the IPPs are there next to ensure that they cough up some amount of money, and they also have to retrieve their monies they owe them.
Certainly, and I think that while ECG is doing this, ECG should also be looking at addressing some of its challenges, like issues of access to meters and the rest, and issues of their relations with their clients and service delivery. Because if you are doing this and expecting that the Ghanaian should do what is expected, then we also expect that you also to do your part.
So it's a two-way affair. You are dealing with what you are supposed to collect, and you are supposed to also ensure that the right thing is done so that the Ghanaian or the customer receives the best of service. You are still watching CNR Extra on City TV. Still to come. 8 persons reported dead after a boat headed to Pajuti, a community in the Karachi West District, capsized on the River Uti. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stories.
Creamy Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204447033. We are streaming live on YouTube, on StitchTube. Let's read you some more stories, and let's go to the floor of Parliament, where the Speaker of Parliament is asking MPs to prioritize their health.
Now, still in Parliament, Speaker Alban Bagbin has stressed the need for members of the House to prioritize their health by undergoing regular medical checks. Now, this follows the death of the Member of Parliament for Kumawu, Philip Baswa. The Speaker of the House, members of Parliament, and the NPP have been eulogizing the late MP. There is more in this report.
The passing of MP for Kumawu, Philip Baswa, was confirmed in the early hours of Tuesday. This follows a short illness that got him hospitalized on Friday. The NPP constituency chairman for Kumawu has been explaining events leading to the death of the Member of Parliament.
Unfortunately, last Friday, our MP got sick, and we all prayed that he would get better. And about 4 o'clock this morning, I started getting messages of his demise.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin, while announcing the demise of the MP, urged parliamentarians to take their health needs seriously.
I've been informed that our colleague couldn't make it. And he has transited to the other world. Honorable members, I'm referring to no less a person than the late Philip Baswa.
The MP's demise comes days after the majority in Parliament managed to get the 6 new ministers of President Akufo-Addo approved. Prior to the approval, proceedings were stalled due to his absence from the floor of Parliament. The NPP has been explaining how they got to know of his health situation moments before the voting on the ministers.
We needed all our members of Parliament to be present before the first vote was cast. However, we could not get Honorable Baswa into the chamber. The majority leader indeed reported that to the Speaker of Parliament, that we could not get Honorable Baswa into the chamber because he fell ill in the early hours of the day.
Philip Baswa was the Member of Parliament for Kumawu at the age of only 54. Prior to his role as Member of Parliament, the late Baswa acted as Chief Executive Officer of the Setre East District between January 2005 and 2009. The NPP, on whose ticket he served as Member of Parliament, described the late MP as a long-standing member of the party.
He has been a role model of many, and the kind of work that he has done in his constituency, and the youth that he has mentored, and the events that he has carried out within the constituency, more especially in the stronghold of the New Patriotic Party. Kumawu is not a very small constituency, and Honorable Baswa has held that flag for us.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has extended his sincere condolences to the widow and children of the late MP of Kumawu. He has described the late Baswa as a devoted adherent of the Dankwabuzia Dombo tradition, who never wavered in the belief that the NPP was the only political party that had the welfare of the country at heart. The party in Kumawu has also described him as a grassroots person.
Honorable Baswa, I think he done so well for the party. He started as a party secretary. Then he rose to become the DCE. Then I think he's a 3-time MP for the constituency. So by looking at that, he served as a capacity very well. Baswa is a grassroots guy.
His colleagues in Parliament have expressed shock at the news of his demise.
It is very unfortunate, very sad. The only thing that I will say is I will commensurate with the family, especially the wife. I know it is not going to be easy for her, especially the wife. But in all things, we have to give thanks and glory to God.
It is with deepest sorrow that we receive early this morning the passing of our friend. This, in no doubt, is going to leave us devastated. We can only pray for strong souls.
His demise has also generated conversation about the numbers in Parliament. The NPP seats, which hitherto were 137, including that of the independent member of Parliament, now dwindles momentarily to 136. The NPP as a party, however, says this will not in any way affect the works of the majority in Parliament as they work towards getting approval for the 3 revenue bills expected to be laid before Parliament by Friday. The New Patriotic Party has promised to give a befitting burial to the Member of Parliament once the family comes out with a funeral arrangement. But in line with the dictates of the 1992 Constitution, processes will soon commence for a by-election in Kumewu. According to Article 112, Clause 5 and 6 of the 1992 Constitution, the Clerk of Parliament shall within 7 days after a seat becomes vacant notify the Electoral Commission, who shall hold a by-election within 30 days after the vacancy occurred, provided the vacancy did not occur within 3 months to the holding of a general election. With the processes outlined above yet to... The NPP in the Kumewu constituency says there exists no threats against the party in Kumewu in case of a by-election.
Not in our lifetime. So far as Kumewu is concerned, it is and will be for NPP at any given time. So our worries goes with the bereaved family who have lost, and we have lost an MP. That's what we are concerned now. But whoever succeeds him, definitely is going to be an NPP guy. That one, there's no question about that.
The New Patriotic Party says it is mourning its late Member of Parliament for Kumewu. However, it will hold on to all conversations on a by-election until processes officially begin from Parliament. Reporting for City News, Hansen Ajiman.
May the late MP of Kumewu, Philip Baswa, rest in perfect peace. And I think what the Right Honourable Speaker is saying is something important, that at least we are representing constituents. You also have to prioritize your health so that the mini pressure on you or the mini burden on you do not over you in a way that you wouldn't want to give a better health care for yourself. This is a very sad one concerning the MP stuff.
A very sad one. I mean, as we've all come to agree, that is one that we cannot in any way predict. And of course, we can do our human part, but there are aspects that we do not have any control. But for parts that we can, like taking good care of ourselves. But this cannot, because we actually do not know what exactly happened to the MP. What we've been told by the party and by the family is that he collapsed at home. He was taken to the hospital, fell into a coma, and then was pronounced dead on Tuesday. So we can only pray that he rests in peace and then commiserate with the family and the Parliament and the NPP party at large.
Exactly. So let's move away from this story and bring another sad story that has to do with the death of 8 people who had their accident on the River Oti when they were moving to a community that is Pajuti, a community in the Krachi Western District. Let's bring you that insight.
reported dead after a boat headed for Bajuti, a community in the Krachi West District, capsized on the River Uti. The accident is alleged to have resulted from the overloading of the boat with about 16 persons for a boat designed to carry just 8 persons. A former assemblyman for Krachi in Chumro, Kingsley Chamba, in a City News interview said members of the community often refuse to use life jackets even when they are provided for them. The following report has more.
Normally, say more cost and water coming now. You have to, wash away the water so that until whenever you reach your destination. So it couldn't happen, and the number supposed to be less than 8 members, but the numbers boats in our fund was about 15 or 16, including children. We lost 4 of the children, including them. We have informed it's what you say is the twin sister district, Krachi West and Krachi Chumuru. So the phone line is around Krachi West, and they are coming from Krachi Chumuru. So DISEC and NAGMU will be meeting this afternoon. Both districts, Municipal Chief Executive and DC, as I said, DISEC will be meeting the NAGMU.
So this follows a very sad one that happened not long ago on the River Volta, when some mourners were moving to Azizanya, if I got the name right, and there some individuals lost their lives. A very sad one in here is that some people, the people who cross the lake or the river, according to some reports, refuse to use the life jackets. Why will you refuse to use the life jackets? And we've been calling on the provision of life jackets. Just recently, I saw that Ecozoid has provided some life jackets to the very community, that is a Zizania community, that that incident happened. Then why should we wait for all these things to be happening? 8 lives lost in this incident.
You see, Philip, I always say that humans as we are, you would always get a human being who will not conform. The other question is, why will you sit in a car and not put on your seat belt?
Yes.
If you just go outside the street, you see
a lot of people
who will not put on the seat belt. And that's why in every human institution, enforcement is very key. And if you are not strict on enforcement, you get people who bypass the system. And we've said on countless occasions on this platform that inland water transport is one that we need to put our eyes on and get it regulated and monitored appropriately. Some research has put an average annual death on the River Volta alone at about 100 persons per year. And this is just a River Volta. And what are the issues? Overloading of the boats,
yes.
Absence of life jackets, using the boat at night where the place is not well lit, and a host of others. Without that deliberate regulation of the space and implementation and enforcement of laws, we'll be hearing some of these sad issues. And I think that we shouldn't be, our attention at all shouldn't be diverted from asking the authorities to do what is expected. Because human beings will always be human beings. You get people who will not go by the rule. And that is why we have to implement the laws we have as a people.
It's a very sad one, and we just hope and pray that the various authorities will just take you out of these things, and we just stop losing lives on the various lakes, the various rivers, as a result of not putting on the life jacket. Let's go to the camp of the National Democratic Congress, and the flag bearer hopeful, and also the former Finance Minister, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, on Tuesday filed or was at the vetting in that particular headquarters, that is the NDC headquarters. Let's bring you insert.
Former Finance Minister Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and businessman Ernest Kweku Kobia on Tuesday morning faced the committee to be vetted as NDC flag-bearer candidates. Their vetting follows that of former President John Dramani Mahama, which took place on Monday. City News' Akuso Ocho was at the party's headquarters and has filed this report.
It's day 2 of the vetting for flag-bearer aspirants here at the headquarters of the National Democratic Congress. Today, we're expecting to see two of the aspirants, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, who is also a former finance minister, and also a businessman, Ernest Kweku Korbia, to appear before the 12-member committee, which is spearheading this particular vetting exercise. A number of supporters from Ernest Kweku Korbia's side have arrived here to throw their support for the businessman. But Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, his campaign team says they did not invite supporters to come here today because they felt that the vetting process today was a serious one and that they needed some sort of serene environment to have their aspirants coming here to go through his vetting peacefully and successfully. The vetting started at 10:30 a.m., a few minutes before 12. Dr. Kwabena Duffuor was done with his vetting. And so the campaign team lead for Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, who is also a former member of parliament for Ablek Masab, Fritz Balfour, has been speaking about what transpired at the vetting. Close to 2 hours. How did it go?
It went very, very well. We have a very good candidate in Dr. Duffuor. He's eloquent. He knows what he's about. And so naturally the committee was very interested in hearing his opinions on various things concerning the Republic of Ghana and the people of Ghana.
Yesterday we were here. We saw a number of members of parliament coming in to support former President John Dramani Mahama. Today, apart from Neil Ante van der Boer, who is also on the elections committee, we've not really spotted any member of parliament.
Oh, ours was a low-key appearance. All right, this was supposed to be devoid of a crowd. When we came to file our nomination, we were followed by the grassroots. And Dr. Duffuor is a man of the grassroots. The members of parliament, whom I respect and used to be my colleagues, have their opinions. But I think that we didn't orchestrate anything. We came here low-key because this was a vetting. It was a very, very serious approach. The filing of the nomination was a bit of a fanfare, so we came with a lot of people and we had fun.
Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and Ernest Kweku Korbia, both aspiring to be the flag bearer of the NDC, yesterday appeared before the vetting committee. Today, another individual also appeared before the vetting committee. My colleague Akusia Ochre is at the NDC headquarters at Adabraka to bring us up to speed of what is concerning what is happening there. Akusia, good morning. Who appeared before the vetting committee today, and what has he been saying?
Good morning, Philip, and to our listeners as well. Today, like you rightly said, Kojo Bonsu, who is a former mayor of Kumasi, appeared before the 12-member committee to be vetted. He came in 5 minutes to 10 this morning and appeared before the committee. His vetting lasted for about an hour and 45 minutes. Then he came out and spoke to the media. Philip, what he's been telling the media is that he is confident that he will be on the ballot paper come May 13, and he's also confident of winning that particular flag bearer election come May 13. So that's what basically has been happening here at the NDC headquarters. Let me also add, Philip, that we just received news from the elections committee that Ernest Kweku Korbia, who came here yesterday, that's on Tuesday, to have his vetting, was asked to come in today as well for another session. We don't really know, or we haven't really been given the information as to what really he's here to do, but he's here to face the committee again. But again, as to what exactly happened yesterday, for which reason he has to appear for the second time, we are yet to know from the elections committee. So he was expected at 11:30, so that his session will commence from 11:30 to 12 o'clock. Then the balloting for the position on the ballot paper come May 13 will begin at exactly 12 o'clock. But Philip, as we speak, Ernest Bekukobia is not in yet. We are still expecting him to come and then to face the elections committee. But until then, the elections committee will wait till 12 p.m. To conduct this balloting. I can also say that representatives of various aspirants, that Kojobon to former President John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, are here waiting for that balloting to commence.
Okay, many thanks for your time, Akusia Ochi, station at the NDC headquarters, giving us up to speed what is happening concerning the vetting. John Dramani Mahama has appeared before the vetting committee. Also, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor has also appeared before the vetting committee. Kojo Bonsu appeared before the vetting committee, and also Ernest Kobia, who is asked to make a comeback today.
Yes, and it's as we've said on this platform already.
We wish them well.
These persons, I mean, they've shown some sort of resilience, and of course, we wait to see what the vetting committee will come out with.
Yes, and they are hopeful that they are going to win the flag bearership race. Well, May 13 will tell. You are still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources refutes reports that government owes some seedling providers over 2.5 billion cedis for supplying seedlings for the tree planting exercise during the 2021-2022 Green Ghana celebrations. We're back with that story.
Serene, pristine, natural. This is Maha Beach Resort, set on the seafront in Atuabo and the rich oil and gas hub of the western region. The warmth of the resort can fill your soul. Our well-receptive environment brings you home away from home. The strand of beauty detailing the state-of-the-art facility makes your stay even more fun within the well-thought-through architectural features, hosting all sorts of fun games. Maha Beach Resort has an assortment of packages for all occasions. Maha Beach Resort, redefining indigenous hospitality.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Now, the Lands Ministry has refuted reports that it is owing seedling providers some 2.5 billion cedis.
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has refuted reports that government owes some seedling providers over 2.5 billion cedis for supplying seedlings for the tree planting exercise during the Green Ghana Day celebrations for 2021 and 2022. Now, the government says the quoted amount is outrageous. It owes only 28 million cedis. The following report has more.
Contracted to provide seedlings for the government's tree planting exercise under the Green Ghana project had earlier lamented how they were constantly being harassed by banks they secured loans from to procure the seedlings. They claimed that the government owed cities, and it is doing all it can to pay up.
When somebody just mentions to you that you owe me 2.5 billion, do you understand the magnitude of it? Please, we don't owe anyone 2.5 billion. Yes, government owes for 2021 and 2022. In all, it's 28 million Ghana cedis.
So where from that 2.5 billion? Let's report the facts as it is. Yes, we are in discussion with the Ministry of Finance, and hopefully we know they will release.
The Lands Ministry says 22.5 billion Ghana cedis is not what they owe the seedling providers, but some 28 million Ghana cedis. I think they're still owe here.
Yeah, but
whether it's 2.5 or 28, they are still owing.
But
I think the figure has to be made right so that
the 2.5 billion. It was interesting when reports came out and they were claiming that government owed them 2.5 billion cedis. That was a lot of money. 8 million cedis. We hope that the government will be able to get the needed financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance and will be able to clear this debt. The other thing for me is to look at the impact that we've gotten from this Green Ghana project, and we have to do an assessment and see if we are really greening our society by this project, or
from what the minister spoke to about with the pressmen, he indicated that about 70% of the seedlings or the trees planted are doing well.
Well, let's hope that they keep up the good work. But of course, you also realize that you go to some municipalities, you drive around, and then you see that places when they were doing the Green Ghana project that you covered extensively, you cannot see any trace of trees. But they have the figures as of now, and we wait to see what will happen in the coming years, because in the coming days, when the next Green Ghana project is supposed to take off, and this project is one that I think that we will have to support. And support does not only mean that we should only help government plans, but we should support and sustain the process and make sure that these trees grow and grow well, because we've always been talking about issues of climate change, and this is one of government's response to the concerns of climate change.
So support and ensure that the goal is achieved, that we are going to green Ghana, and also if the tree is planted, make sure that it's been watered and is being kept well so that it can grow to the benefit of all. This is how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Nilati. I did this with Hansen Ajiman. Many thanks for your time, and keep watching City TV.